Welcome to another edition of Wichita's Biz That Is on KGPT. I'm Tim Witzman, President of the Wichita Independent Business Association. And today our guest is Bill Ellison. Bill is the Assistant Regional Director?
District
Director of SCORE.
Correct.
And we'll get to what SCORE is in just a moment. But let's begin, Bill. I want to hear a little bit about your journey.
Well,
I don't want to jump right into SCORE. Let's start with you.
I'm one of those rare people that lived in Wichita all their lives. Went to North High School, then Wichita State, and graduated from there quite a few years ago. And I'm an avid Shocker fan, and baseball and basketball.
Amen.
And
we're good on that one.
And I basically worked for about 5 years while I was going to college at Coleman Company in their engineering group. And then I joined a company called Enmar. It's a paint company in Andover, Kansas, and I worked through there, and they sold the company like 2 or 3 times to a company called Amaron. And I think people know Pratt & Lambert, then Sherwin-Williams, and I was their site manager. And that was like 35 years of running the people, all the engineering, maintenance, total quality, all the programs it takes to run a plant site. And then I basically retired approximately 7 years ago and decided to do some volunteer work, and had an old friend with the SBA and named Tom Means, who
I remember Tom.
Suggested I join SCORE. So I did that, and about 2 years I was the chairperson of SCORE, and that's
I'm going to be chair again next year.
Right. I've been the district director for several years, assistant district director for a year, and so it's my time to sort of try to do some exciting things to help small business in Wichita.
Great. Well, let's talk about SCORE. What is SCORE?
Well, SCORE really means Service Corps to Retired Executives. It's a group of about 11,000 volunteers nationwide with 350 offices, normally work with the Small Business Administration, and they help people who are in business solve problems, and they help people that aren't in business would like to be an entrepreneur, how to write a business plan, how to put together their financial statements, and whereas a banker who would most likely fund their opportunity can at least have some idea that this is a very possible a good company to invest in. And of course that has a lot of different problems associated, because as you would guess, in today's economy, different people have different assets, they have different backgrounds, and so sometimes we have to sort of mentor them and talk to them and figure out really where they want to go and how they want to get there.
Well, I should have said that WIBA and SCORE worked together for a long time. When we had our own building, SCORE conducted their seminars there. And when people come to us, in fact, we had one today, came in, and that's where we directed them.
Well, appreciate that.
Over to SCORE. Because for WIBA, you have to have a real going business.
Right.
We're not in the business of starting businesses. And for SCORE, that's what you do. Both you and SBA have some really helpful things.
And we appreciate your support too, because we send people that are getting into business or are needing to network with other business people over to your offices and to get involved with your programs.
When people come in to see, give me kind of a typical, I know it's all over the map, but what do they typically have or not have when they walk in the door to talk to SCORE?
Well, SCORE, it's a group of about 35 business people that are giving their time in various backgrounds, but what they don't have in most cases is the passion to really be in business.
They don't.
They're not quite sure.
That surprises me.
Well, they're not quite sure what they want. They're not sure that, well, I'm sort of scared. I don't know what this word running a business means. I don't know how to do a business plan. And I ultimately do not know how to get the funds to start the business. So we start the process. And first of all, we spend about an hour, 2 hours with them trying to analyze what it is they really want to get and accomplish. And it doesn't matter what we think of their idea. We sort of let the numbers tell them that it should be a good opportunity, or perhaps they ought to rethink it or go a different direction.
Yeah, I've talked to people, and at times they'll walk in and they'll, well, now, you know, I see I'm going to get about $2.5 billion. And I'm thinking, How did you come up with this number, and how are you going to reach those people?
There are some people do, and most of those people, in most cases, don't have very many assets. And in today's economy, a lot of them really have no cash at all to have injection into the business. And there are some ways that, if it's a great idea, especially if you're a veteran, which I'd like to talk a little more about the veteran programs we support, we can help them figure it all out. Plus, we have a network of bankers all over Kansas that the SBA has relationships with, and we also have relationships with. There's probably 5 bankers that do 80% of the loans in the Wichita area and this part of the world.
That's an interesting number.
And there's probably 300 of them on the list, but the majority of them are just a few banks. And they're used to doing those loans. They're used to working with the startup people.
Very interesting. Well, tell me a little bit about we may have to take a break in the middle of your presentation, but talk to us a little bit about the veterans programs, because I'm not as familiar with those.
Well, there's a program called Boots to Business, and SCORE and the Small Business Development Center and the SBA, now going on for 2 years, has been going up for like 2-day seminars at Fort Riley, Kansas, which is an Army base, and McConnell Air Force Base. All those people leaving the service, and there's a tremendous amount of them right now, have various options. They can go to a degree program, or they can figure out if they want to be in a business, and some other educational assistance that they can get. So we've been putting on a 2-day seminar. We're approximately in Fort Riley, around 50 soldiers at a time. We did one last week.
These are as people are leaving or later.
Leaving soldiers. They're all at different aspects. And some of them are already in business, but most of them aren't. But they're catching themselves where they want to run a business. Boots to Business is a program where we introduce them to an 8-week course that had been developed through the SBA.
Well, we're going to pick up and let you finish in just a moment. We'll be back in just a moment with more of Wichita's Biz That Is.